What up, guys? Kelly with Patriot Prepper. I know y'all see a change of scenery. Let me give y'all a little sneak peek. Yeah, so this is my room on the rig. All right, my home for 21 days at a time. It's almost like a fancy hotel suite, but no, not really. But it's not bad. All right, I've been in worse. All right, guys. So look, the purpose of this video today, like I said, normally I don't make videos on the rig, but I wanted something. I wanted to share something with y'all I came across today. Today is May 10th, 2025, Saturday. Head of LA port warns for incoming plunges in the U.S. supply chain, empty shelves and inventory depletion in 5 to 7 weeks. All right, I'm gonna read this off to y'all. Gene Soroka, the executive director of the Port of Los Angeles, was interviewed by Bloomberg today, laying out disturbing timeline of supply chain disruptions, empty shelves, and retail shock that has already been set into motion. Importantly, this is already baked in and cannot be avoided. The lag times of goods being shipped from China allows us to accurately project upcoming retail inventory depletion based on the plunging cargo volumes inbound to ports like Los Angeles. All right. So what it's saying right here, a timeline of supply chain disruptions in the United States. So immediately in the next 1 to 2 weeks, mid-May, sharp drop in import volume, a 30% decline in incoming shipments. So 50,000 fewer containers begins hitting U.S. ports. Delays in unloading due to manpower shortages at docks and trucking networks worsen. Retailer reaction. It says CEOs freeze import hiring and capital investment due to uncertainty. And retailers also warn price hikes 10% or more to offset the rising cost. So that's the first week or two, right? Then it says 3 to 4 weeks out, early June. Visual shelf shortages. Chinese-made goods, 80% of Walmart-like inventories begin running out of pre-existing shipments are depleted. Spot shortages emerge from high-demand items like electronics, seasonal goods like spring, summer fashion. And then it says transportation slowdown. Truckers see reduced loads, 4 to 5 containers to 2 to 3, and that's going to be cutting into the wages. Dock workers lose overtime, shifting to below standard work week, further slowing operations. And 5 to 7 weeks out, mid to late June, extending into July. Critical inventory depletion. Retailers exhaust 5 to 7 weeks of normal stockpiles. Empty shelves become widespread. Back to school items face shortages if no resolution is reached. Economic spillover. Inflation spikes as scarcity drives up prices. Unemployment rises in logistics. Talking about trucking and warehousing due to reduced trade and volume. So it says if a trade deal is reached, this is the being optimistic scenario. They're saying 1 month lag time till recovery. So 1 month until we get back to our normal. It takes 2 weeks to respond to reposition ships from Chinese ports to reload containers. Another 2 weeks for the transit to cross the Pacific. So that's a total of 4 weeks right there. Shelves become refilling after 4+ weeks, but seasonal demand may be already missed. All right, talking about maybe summer. So if no deal, worst case scenario, it says ocean freight collapse. Shipments from China could drop 100%, paralyzing global trade. Desperate conditions, empty shelves, rampant theft, and social unrest in urban areas. Well, shit, I mean, if they're empty shelves, I mean, what are they stealing? All right, long-term damage. It says inflation spirals, business halts, expansion, and unemployment spreads beyond logistics. So some key takeaways. Speed matters. A Trump-China deal within weeks is critical to avoid irreversible consumer and economic harm. So, like I said, today is May 10th. Supposedly this weekend, Trump and China is supposed to have, or I don't know if Trump, but I know the U.S. and China are supposed to be having a meeting on these tariffs, okay? Sometime this weekend. Global domino effect. Disruptions could quickly extend beyond China, Mexico, Canada, Southeast Asia. All right. So, and then what he did, so it says economic impacts for typical American workers and consumers. I asked Brighton AI engine, so I guess this is going to be AI, to describe what life would be in America if no deal is reached in 4 months. In other words, I wanted Enoch to extend projection scenario described by Mr. Soroka. You can decide for yourself whether you think Enoch is correct, or I suppose you'll find out soon enough if no trade deal is reached. So here's what Enoch projected, all right, that if there is no deal made, right, with these tariffs, and we continue with this no trade, 5 to 7 weeks out, mid to late June extending into July, emerging crisis, widespread empty shelves, retailers exhaust backup stockpiles, new shipments arrive, no new shipments arrive from China. Back to school items, laptops, backpacks, shoes vanish, causing parental panic. And then auto parts shortages. Halt car repairs, dealerships run out of key components. Economic and social fallout, inflation skyrockets 20 to 30% or more on remaining goods due to scarcity. Unemployment rises in logistics, talking about trucking and warehousing. Almost done, guys, almost done. 8 to 12 weeks out, August, societal breakdown begins. Black market and theft surge. Looting increases in urban areas as desperation grows. Underground resale markets for electronics, medicine, and tools emerge. So, I mean, it's kind of like if you can't buy them at the store, you're going to like the black market to get this stuff, right? That's sad. All right, manufacturing shutdowns. U.S. factories, cars, appliance, medical devices halt production due to missing Chinese parts. Tech companies, Apple, Dell, HP delay product launches indefinitely. Housing market collapse. Construction stalls, no Chinese-made materials, steel, wiring, PVC pipes. Home prices drop as buyers fear long-term instability. 13 to 16 weeks out, September, desperation sets in. Food and medicine shortages. Pharmaceuticals, antibiotics, vitamins, generics run low. China supplies 80% of the U.S. drug ingredients. I didn't know that. Grocery stores ration canned goods, rice, and frozen foods. It says many rely on Chinese packaging. Currency and financial crisis. The dollar loses value as imports vanish. Hyperinflation looms. Stock markets crash. Corporate earnings collapse. Civil unrest and government response. Riots erupt in major cities over food and supply shortages. Military may be deployed to secure ports and distribution centers. Government rations essential goods like fuel, medicine, and food. Long-term consequences is if no deal is reached beyond 16 weeks. So that's what, 4 months. Permanent economic damage. Millions of unemployed as factories, retails, and logistics collapse. U.S. forced to rebuild supply chains from scratch, a process taking years. Global ripple effect. Mexico, Canada, and Europe suffer from U.S. economic crash. China's economy also collapsed from lost exports, leading to global recession. So, in conclusion, a nightmare scenario. If no trade deal is reached within 4 months, America would face many empty shelves in 80% of the stores, accelerated inflation, prices doubling or tripling, mass unemployment, talking about logistics, retailing, and manufacturing, black markets, looting, and civil unrest, and a near total breakdown of consumer society. It says the only way to avoid this would be a rapid trade deal. Otherwise, the U.S. would descend in truly desperate conditions within months without Chinese imports. Alright guys, so look, what I just read y'all, you could find, like I said, I just found it earlier tonight. It was SHTF News. And then you can click on disaster news or disaster, and you'll be able to see it right there. It looks like this. But so sorry about all the weird camera angles. I'm trying to hold my phone and do this, but this is something I just wanted to share with y'all, to where if you do need supplies, food, or anything that's Chinese made right now, I would go ahead and get it while you can, while it's still on the shelves, while it's still fairly or reasonably priced, because the way it sounds, if we don't get, between the talks between, us and China, if we don't make a deal soon, it's kind of sounding like shit's gonna get bad. I ain't trying to spread, any type of doomer porn or fear. I just want to make sure y'all's aware of it, to where if you or your family, your friends need something, I would suggest go ahead and get that now. Make sure y'all stock up on food. But that's all I got. Y'all be safe. Patriot Prepper out.